Hey y'all, I'm Colin and welcome to my channel. Today we will answer the question Anna O'Brien, aka GlitterAndLazers, has posed herself. Can she be a runner? I just realized I'm wearing my Data shirt today and I just remembered her dog is named Data. Does anyone know why her dog is named Data? She doesn't strike me as a Trekkie, but you never know. Anyway, Anna has posted 3 videos in her running journey series so far, and I was gonna wait till she was done to review the whole thing, but she left us on a cliffhanger in episode 3.
So, what's next for me is...
So I figured I might as well cover what we have so far, because I have thoughts about glitter and lasers. Imagine that. I'm not here to make fun of Anna's weight, by the way. For all her faults, the fact that she struggles with her weight is not one of them. I actually think Anna is pretty and fashionable and she can be funny, but I also think she's manipulative and a grifter, and I think she's annoying, but in a way I kind of love to hate. That being said, a lot of the things I criticize her for do relate to her weight, specifically the things she says about her weight that are either misleading or just flat out untrue. One of the things that's gotten on a lot of her viewers' nerves recently is her insistence that she be a runner. And yeah, there are people who have given her hate just because she's plus size and exercising. I've seen it with my own eyes. But she seems to lump in real constructive criticism with that hate. Because a lot of people have kindly said, hey, running is rough on your joints, especially at your size, so maybe you should just try walking or swimming. And yet, she persists vehemently.
I just finished and today was so much easier. I'm getting better. I gotta go run again, so off to the trail I go. Trying to run a mile. I freaking did it!
But after much protesting, Anna seemed to actually take some of that criticism in stride. Haha. She started going to a place called Run Lab, where physical therapists will train you to run safely. She's been at it for several months based on what I've seen on Instagram, but she's taken us back in time in episode 1 of her running journey series. The first video in the series is called Can I Be a Runner? Facing the Hard Truth. Breaking news, Anna has turned off all comments on her running journey series and changed the title of the first video. If you ever watch older reactions to that video, you'll see this title.
This one is titled, Can I Be a Runner? Facing the Hard Truth.
Now, if you look through Anna's videos, you'll find the very same video with the new title, Overcoming Pain, My Gait Analysis and Rehabilitation Journey. What a different vibe. It feels like Anna posed a rhetorical question and then received an answer anyway, and she didn't like that answer very much. So what better solution than to just remove the question entirely? Not to mention it makes it a lot more difficult to find the original video if you've watched older reaction videos with the old title. And turning off the comments does a double service of doing away with criticism of both her running and the fact that this series just seems like advertisement, because that's something a lot of people, myself included, have criticized her for. But don't worry, it's not sponsored. Anna says so in the description. This video is not sponsored by Run Lab, and all opinions are my own. We were gifted some sessions, but that was after I approached them for help in achieving my running goals. That's something I discussed more in depth in my last Glitter and Lasers video, so I won't rehash it too much here, but it feels suspicious. But let's move on with episode 1, shall we? At the start of this video, Anna shows us a clip of her taken after she says she's just run a mile.
You know, I thought I was gonna come out here and I was gonna run like a quarter of a mile, and here I just did a mile.
Can I be raw and real with you guys for a second? After I watched that video, it made me want to try running for the first time in literal years. Oh, Anna, making me lose weight, making me run. She is really earning that title of influencer, isn't she? And y'all, I am 27 years old. I am finally within a healthy weight range. I am probably in the best physical shape of my life. You know what I'm not? A runner. I am not a runner. I cannot run a mile. I can run maybe a third of a mile, and like I'm capable of walking several miles. I do that often. But like, this is kind of embarrassing, but I had a moment where I was like, do I even remember how to run?
It's like riding a bike. You never forget.
So in my mind, when I hear Anna say she can run a mile, I'm like, damn, that's impressive. What that tells me as a viewer is that even though Anna is obese, she could be in better physical shape than I am as a healthy weight person, right? Much to think about, right? In this video, which is absolutely not sponsored nor an advertisement, Anna goes to a place called Run Lab, where physical therapists are there to train you and teach you how to run safely.
Let's do this. Good morning. Hi, I'm Dr. Kim Davis. I'm the founder and CEO of Run Lab here in Austin, Texas. My feeling and the reason for starting this company is because I feel that anybody who wants to run should be able to run. And we're all built very individually, right? So we base our process on helping people understand their own bodies and the way that they should move unique to their structure.
After what is not a blatant sales pitch, we meet the main physical therapist that Anna works with, Dr. Roden.
Anna, this is Dr. Roden, so he's going to be in charge of your care. And
Nice to meet
take you through the whole process and the assessment and all the fun things.
I am single. And he starts to assess her gait. They kind of run through all the different ways your body can move and what your specific problems are. They even take video of you against a green screen to like assess all the different aspects of how your body moves. And I think that's really neat. That sounds like I'm advertising. And finally, we come to what Anna calls the hard truth in the original video.
At the end of my assessment, I found out some pretty bad news. It turns out I don't walk properly. I have straight legs, which means I do not bend my knees at all when I walk. So before I even thought about running, I was gonna have to relearn how to walk because right now I was at serious risk of injury.
But I think that's interesting because that's not what I would call the hard truth in this series. I think the hard truth actually comes in episode 2, and we'll get to that shortly. It kind of makes you wonder why she posed the question, can I be a runner, in the first place? Based on this video, the people at Run Lab seem pretty optimistic that she can.
Do you think this is actually possible? I'm being really real with you right now. Like, I'm not being like delusional. Sorry, I was gonna say delulu, like the kids say, but
Yeah, that's very possible. Like, we have people in every shape and size and form.
Dr. Roden seems to think she can indeed be a runner. Also, can I just say, I really like Dr. Roden. It's very clear based on his interactions with Anna that he just wants her to be safe and he really doesn't want her to push herself into injury. In addition to that, this scene always makes me laugh.
Just talking with a patient yesterday. They want to be able to go to Galveston, walk in and out of the water without not feeling pain or efficient. And so practicing mechanically what is different about an incline versus a decline or unstable surfaces.
The way he just plows through the rest of his sentence while Anna is over there having her cinematic moment. I wonder if that sentimental music that she always plays when she's crying just plays in her head all the time. Anna concludes the first video with this lecture about easy beginner workouts.
So I think the reason a lot of plus size people don't exercise, or at least don't consistently exercise, is like we get fed like unrealistic expectations of what should be achievable on your first time. And I think when someone presents something as like an easy at-home workout or like a simple step, right? And then you take that step and it's really fucking hard and you can't do it. You're incapable of completing what's supposedly easy. That puts a like mindset, it creates a mindset that like you are so far behind that it's impossible that you can't even do the easy workout. So I just hate in general the idea of like easy workouts. And I think we should talk more about the fact that like big changes take a long time.
And I just want to say, girl, this is a you problem. I've recently started working out with videos labeled beginner and they whoop my ass. I'm not plus size, I'm just out of shape. That doesn't mean the workout is bad or wrong. It just means I'm not in the place I should be yet. So I just do what I can and know that I'll just have to work up to it. That doesn't mean I'm happy about it. It is kind of demotivating to see a workout labeled beginner and find that you're still not able to do that. But Anna loves to be unique and contrarian. And of course she throws in that line about this applying to plus size people, which is interesting because so often she emphasizes that plus size people can do everything that thinner people can. But honestly, her talking out of both sides of her mouth is par for the course at this point. I do think people are rude to her because of her size, but it's just a fact that as a morbidly obese person, you're probably going to be a little bit more behind than the average person. Moving on to episode 2, my running journey. You have to walk before you can run. Now we finally learn what I would actually call the hard truth. Anna can't run. I don't mean she shouldn't run like some people have been telling her. I mean, she attempts to run and she does not actually achieve the motion of running.
If we ever watch the Olympics for speed walking, you technically do a double stance.
So I'm technically just walking.
You are super speed walking.
Look at me, I'm a fastest walker. No, I'm not. But
There is nothing wrong with that.
it's not, so that's not jogging or running.
Technically, no.
Okay, I have never run or jogged.
And this is actually going to be my sticking point for the rest of the series. I think that clip of her after running a mile in the first episode was supposed to be later in the timeline after she'd been going to Run Lab for a while. I think it was meant to be like a teaser showing what she's capable of now that she's been working with physical therapists. So we're supposed to think, okay, Anna learns in episode 2 that she's not able to run. But we know at some point in the future she is able to run because she just showed us that clip after she ran a mile in episode 1. It's like a purposeful spoiler. But you don't actually see her running in that very beginning scene. You get some fuzzy, distant shots of her walking right before she starts talking, but that's it. That makes me wonder, are those clips supposed to be what she thinks is running? Or is this just careful editing to avoid showing her attempt at a run? She cannot have us see a physical therapist whose entire job is to teach her how to run, working at a place called Run Lab, tell her she's just speed walking and leave it at that. She has to reiterate time and time again that what she's doing is running. Sure, she learns in episode 2 that she's never run before, but now she knows how to run because she says it all the time.
It's incredibly windy today, so I'm a little nervous about today's run. Today I'm going out on the most challenging run I've ever done myself, that I would run at least once in Seattle.
From what I've seen in a lot of her videos, Anna likes to use wiggly words and bend the definitions of things to suit her. She's told she can't run, but Dr. Roden says she might be on the verge of a jog if she tries outside versus on the treadmill because she's more comfortable on the ground. But I want you to pay very close attention to the conversation here.
Next, Dr. Roden had me run outside. This was so he could see if I could actually jog or if I was just walking really fast.
You have a moment. So
I was slight jog.
You officially jog.
Okay,
We want it to be a little bit more joggy, right?
but I do it.
But you do it. You have a moment where you have 1 foot off and 1 foot on.
Okay.
Okay?
Dr. Roden says a couple times there, you have a moment. A moment. But Anna loves to bend a word, right?
But I do it.
Hang on, he said you had a moment.
But you do it. You have a moment where you have 1 foot off and 1 foot on.
Okay.
Okay?
The way she's phrasing it sounds like she thought the whole thing was the jog, but he specifically said she had a moment. And I can see very clearly that she's walking for most of that clip. A jog or a run is defined as having both feet leaving the ground at once, while walking is always having 1 foot touching the ground. This is gonna sound stupid, but when I was doing my pathetic little third of a mile run, I had the thought, okay, so running is just a series of hops. And that reminded me of something from episode 1, the artist formerly known as Can I Be a Runner?
Starting at the top, as best you can, rotate your head as far as you can both directions. Just like our old days in hopscotch, single foot, Single foot. All good. These are challenging. We do them on purpose, right?
Yes, I feel humbled.
Did not know I couldn't do that.
Cannot hop anymore.
It's interesting to me that the cameraman doesn't show Anna's hop. He shows the head bending at the beginning and he shows a clip of her after the hop, but we never actually see the hop itself. I even noticed you can kind of see Anna's reflection in the background right before that scene, but the camera is even tilted away from that reflection when she does the hop. I sound like a conspiracy theorist, but just go with me here. I think part of the reason Anna didn't show the hop is because, well, if you can't hop, you probably can't run. I don't even think my conspiracy theory explains it sufficiently, because she does show us what she calls a run all the time, even though it's clearly not a run. Maybe she was just embarrassed by what happened in that scene, but I also don't think her being embarrassed explains it, because she shows us her failing all the time.
I always talk about how consistency is really important. Let this be a lesson.
It's so bizarre, and neither one of those theories explains why she'd even leave that clip in at all. I think I've just confused myself by trying to make sense out of nonsense. I don't know, maybe old John the camera guy just forgot to catch that part. You guys will have to let me know in the comments what you think about that. Anyway, back to Anna's slight jog in episode 2. Once again, this is where I'm like, okay, I like Dr. Roden. There's a lot of criticism for Run Lab even encouraging Anna to run at all, but Dr. Roden seems to realize, okay, I've been hired to teach this woman how to run. How do we prevent as much injury as possible?
You have a moment where you have 1 foot off and 1 foot up.
Okay.
Okay? That is where we want to keep you. We don't want the crazy float tuck. That's not necessary and very risky at this point.
However, it does seem like there are other physical therapists at Run Lab teaching Anna to jump with the TRX. And like, as I always say, I'm not a medical professional, but it just looks painful. Because whether you walk, run, jump, whatever, you're putting pressure on your joints. Adding force with a run or a jump doesn't just put your body weight's pressure on your knees, it compounds it. I found a Harvard Health article that I'll link below, and it says just walking puts 1.5 times your body weight's pressure on your knees. And another article on PubMed that I found, and I'll link that too, shows that jumping applies several more times your body weight's pressure on your knees, even up to 9 times your body weight on certain parts of the knee. And in my completely non-professional opinion, I don't know how the people at Run Lab justify having her do this exercise or even attempt to run. Hard cut to shoe shopping with what is definitely not an ad for this running shoe store. And Anna gets an analysis to learn what type of shoe is best for her. And she also gets to meet a dog.
Chucky, I will do it. Hi! I'm guessing you don't go on runs.
Oh, so you just assume the brachycephalic dog can't run. Where's the body positivity? Anna finds out she has flat arches.
The reality is, in a bigger body, my arches were a little bit flattened, and that was due in part to my weight.
And okay, this just furthers my point. If your weight is pushing down on your feet so much that your arches have flattened, that should tell you something about whether you should be running or jumping. But we don't have time for that. We have to sit and listen to another one of Anna's lectures.
In this day and age, we try to give a generic solution for every single person, and the reality is health and your body is never generic. And so it's never going to be the right solution if you're like optimizing for the median, because you're optimizing for somebody else's issue. That's right. And so as sometimes annoying as this process can be, because I have a lot of doctors and a lot of support, I'm grateful that I'm able to do that, because I feel like I'm actually getting to the root of how my body works versus responding to how people think bodies generally work. And it's a very different approach, and I wish that honestly more health programs and more insurance programs supported this type of work, because if you move without pain, that's movement for life.
She really has a bug up her butt about beginner workouts, huh? I want to know what fitness girly hurt her. Was it Chloe Ting? Because actually, I would like to have a word with her about her beginner ab workouts too. Not only that, I find it funny that Anna picks up on these phrases like running for life, or you gotta go slow to go fast, and she like peppers them throughout these videos. It comes off as super artificial to me, like she's clearly reading from a script and not actually having a real conversation. Like, who is she even talking to here? Finally, we're at episode 3, the final in the series we have so far, maybe forever. It's called My Running Journey, Time to Run My First 5K. Finally, we're gonna see the culmination of her journey. After some inspirational drivel at the beginning,
I have always been told I can't run.
we see Anna annoy some people at the front desk.
My plan was I was supposed to run today, but I think I'm going to run tomorrow and just give it an extra day.
Okay.
Also, thoughts and theories. I think I maybe need to slow down to go fast.
Which is okay, yeah.
I just don't want to injure myself, and I think learning this, it's like I don't want to go up in the amount I'm running until I feel confident that I'm running when I'm running safely.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
No, that's a great plan.
And so I was like, okay, let's not plan the 5K until I feel comfortable. Because I feel like then I just feel like I keep pushing it out, and I don't want to push it, like, I'm not trying to avoid it, but as I said to John, and I'll say again, I don't want to run a race, I want to run for life.
This video did strike me as weird upon first viewing, but at first I couldn't figure out why. And then I watched a Tiny Blue Anthropologist talk about it. She pointed out that it seemed like there was a lot of footage missing. Like, she literally went back and made sure that she didn't skip a video. And yeah, that's what it feels like. This is the first time we're seeing this guy that Anna's working with so much in this video, and we don't even get a proper introduction. Not only that, but we never actually see Anna get to the point where the physical therapists are like, you're doing it, you're running. Because if they did, I feel like she would have blasted that footage literally everywhere as proof to the haters. In fact, what she shows us seems to be even more evidence that the haters were right.
I was working with my doctors to try to uncover what had caused me to become so inflamed, but I can't deny I felt so frustrated.
Yeah, Anna does have some autoimmune issues and lipedema, but, well, I'm obviously not Anna's doctor, but I can think of a few reasons why she might be inflamed. Not only that, but Anna mentions she's having knee pain, like a lot of people warned her about.
This would help take pressure off of my knee, and since I was coming off of a re-aggravated knee injury, this was critical.
Gee, what could you have been doing recently that aggravated that? Let's talk about the word re-aggravated. Sure, the injury could be incidental, but we never actually see her go to a medical doctor in this series. Just physical therapists who don't seem to be doing any x-rays. And they've even told her to run through the pain until it's at like a 4.
I have this knee injury that I am working through. The way they told me is to keep going if it's below a 4. So I'm right on that border right now, and I'm trying to call it.
Cue me screaming at my screen. But strangely enough, we go from Anna experiencing all these setbacks and doubt in herself straight into the 5K. And to give you an idea of the passage of time, we saw Christmas trees in that running shoe store, and the race takes place on St. Patrick's Day. Where was all that work? Where was the successful first run? Interesting that we never see or discuss that at all. She mentioned in episode 2 that the people at Run Lab said they would run the 5K with her. And we do see someone, presumably from Run Lab, pacing with her and talking to her throughout the race. Surely something they do with every client and not just influencers with billions of followers who are filming a series about them. So what do we see? Well, we see Anna walking a 5K. And this is not a criticism of that fact. I think it's very laudable that she was able to walk a little over 3 miles nonstop. There was a time where that was difficult for me, and I've never even been her size. But what's aggravating about this is that in her eyes, she has run a 5K. She says it in the title of the video, and I'm sure she will continue to brag that she's run a 5K until she's blue in the face. This will be a feather in her cap, proof that even though she's bigger, she's physically fit and she's able to do everything that thin people can. I think the intro to this video is a little more telling than Anna realizes.
I have always been told I can't run.
it's just freeing. It's freeing to do something that people tell you is impossible, to prove that you can do this like super hard thing.
It kind of answers the question, why is it so important to her that she be a runner? There's something admirable about the fact that Anna bucks against people who tell her she can't do certain things. But the problem I have is that to her, she has succeeded, but in reality, she hasn't.
Delulu, like the kids say.
It's like if someone told me I'm not able to fly, and I jumped and flapped my arms, and I called the second I was in the air flying. Well, maybe that wasn't a good analogy.
Running kind of feels like flying in a lot of ways. Like, it's something you always dream about and want to do, but feels impossible. Like the closest to flying I'll get.
I do feel for her. Remember in the first episode where she railed against the concept of an easy beginner workout? I think she feels that way because everything is difficult for her at her size. To her, speed walking feels like running because it's so difficult. And you can tell how devastated she is when Dr. Roden tells her she's just speed walking and not running.
So that's not jogging or running?
Technically, no.
Okay, I have never run or jogged.
It's like, all that effort and all I'm doing is walking. But instead of facing that reality and actually working hard and losing weight so she can accomplish that goal, she just changes definitions so she can tell herself that she accomplished it. Anna has branded herself for years as a confidence queen. She wants to be so inspirational, and to a lot of people she is. If you look at most of her videos where the comments aren't turned off, you'll find loads and loads of comments telling her how brave and fearless and inspiring she is. Now there's a lot to be said about whether she filters her comments, but the fact remains she wouldn't have all those comments or half the following she does if people didn't really think that. So why turn off the comments in this series in particular? Well, like I said, there were even plenty of nice people, fans of hers, telling her that what she was doing seems dangerous. I'm sorry to say I didn't take screenshots before she turned the comments off, but if you watch any of her other workout videos, you'll find a lot of similar comments there. Not only that, there were so many people pointing out that even though she'd been working with Run Lab for months, she still wasn't running. We could see it with our own eyes. It didn't matter how she slowed down or clipped the footage. She was just walking, and she even included her finish time.
58:38. You beat your time.
I'm gonna throw up.
And not to dig at her, but that's about my walking speed, and I'm much shorter than she is. I've said before that I think Anna clickbaits sometimes. She hardly ever shares her eating habits, although she knows people speculate about them all the time. How to attract that curious audience to your video? Hit them with a little what I'm eating ... How to attract the audience who says you can't run? Bait them with, can I be a runner? Facing the hard truth. We get the answer to that question in the second video, which is no. But if I may be a conspiracy theorist again, that's why I think Anna saved up those videos for months. Okay, you guys, I know you've been saying that I'm walking, not running, and I'm gonna injure myself, but look, I'm working with physical trainers now. I'm gonna learn how to run properly. Never mind the fact that there are literal Christmas trees up in the shoe store and these videos were released in March. She really intended this series to be a gotcha to people who said that she couldn't run. For Anna, her whole health journey has been extremely focused on physical fitness. Her ability to achieve more physically has been a point of pride for her. Along the way, she realized her weight was getting in the way, so she relented to things like weight loss drugs, although she emphasized that weight loss was never the point of her journey. So if people had some shit to say about her food video, that probably annoyed her, but she could brush it off. I think that anyway, based on the fact that those comments are still on. But when people came for her ability to run, I think that hit a sore spot for her, because it meant even though she orchestrated this whole production, people still weren't convinced. And that's why I think she had to turn off the comments and change the title of the first video. She's got so much cognitive dissonance that she couldn't handle that criticism. If you're a fan of Anna's and you're watching me now, first of all, congrats to you for sticking with me for this long. But also, I'm sorry, I think she's just manipulating you. And it's for her own ego. I think she likes to feel like a fitness influencer. To collect that clout for being so brave and inspirational in the face of all the haters who just don't like her because she's plus size and exercising. To answer that old question, can Anna be a runner? I still say yes. I think it's going to take a lot of time and a lot of effort, and yes, weight loss. But I do think she could accomplish that goal someday, as long as she admits to herself that she hasn't already done it. Thank you for coming along with me on this journey. I really do enjoy digging into Anna's content. Also, people have asked me several times now what is in that tank back there. I have two beautiful baby hermit crabs named Daryl and Stevie, and they are my pride and joy. I'm actually going to put a little clip of Daryl at the end of this video, so if you don't like creepy crawly critters, you might want to just end here. Please like, comment, and subscribe if you like my content, and I'll see you next time.
Running kind of feels like flying in a lot of ways. Like, it's something you always dream about and want to do, but like feels impossible. Like the closest to flying I'll get.